Howdy, folks. Welcome to Basement Quality Banter, episode 27. I am flying solo this evening as Angus is on his way to Bathurst, the lucky bastard. Hope he has a good, safe trip and doesn't spend too much money on the, $15 mid-strength cans and $90 for a cap and $100 for a polo. I've been going to Bathurst for years, but it's really starting to get a bit ridiculous with the pricing. But I hope he has fun with I've got a couple other friends who have gone down too. So flying solo, and apologies for last week not being online. I was up in Townsville and really tried to make it work, but it just wasn't working. And I have a couple of apologies for Townsville as well, whereas I was going to go to the renewed, opened Tiny Mountain Brewery and went past Maggie Island Brewery when I was over on Magnetic Island, but I was pushed for time and I didn't get a chance to pop in and visit those two venues. So that'll be next time I hop up. And our number one follower, Scott Eckford, also reached out for a beer. So I was unable to catch up with Scott, but thank you for the offer, Scott. My best mate lives up in Townsville, so I'll definitely be up there again, and I'll try and spend more than a couple of days. Speaking of Scott, though, he did send us an interesting article from Japan a couple of days ago, which is so far it has spread across the news platform since then. So Asahi has halted production temporarily due to a cyber attack. They currently have 30 sites in Japan manufacturing beer, whiskey, cider, and food products. The extent of the cyber attack is unknown, nor if it will have any effect on Australia and New Zealand other than supply issues. It seems to be another victim of the worldwide Salesforce hacking incident, and it's got to do with their CRMs, ordering, and logistical programs rather than the actual manufacturing part of the Asahi operation. So this could be interesting, especially leading into Christmas and the warmer season in the Southern Hemisphere, if imported production is affected or if it even filters down in through to the Australian operations. And while I've skipped over it, I popped out to Bacchus today. Always been one of my favourite breweries in Redland Bay, and I picked up their new beer, and I'm not advertising it. It is the Atomic Hubba Bubba Grape Bubblegum Berliner Weiss. Now, I'm not advertising that, so ABAC don't get cranky, because we've known when we've had brands that are similar to this that they've caused some issues before. So, not an ad, just so everyone's clear on that. The brewer's ramblings, fruited Berliner Weiss style, made with real fruit. The aroma is resonant, a popular grape flavored bubblegum. It's tart, refreshing, perfect summer drink. 3.5%, so standard drink, great light beer. Smells amazing. Really reminds me of Currumbin Valley's beer that was quite similar. Yeah, maybe not as sweet as the Currumbin Valley, not as confectionery, and really refreshing. Still has that real grape flavour. Hubba hubba, definitely. I hope they don't get in trouble for that. We've also got a couple of other beers which I will pop on the Instagram and ethanol distribution engineer Facebook page as well. To try them if you want to see what they are. But if you can, get to Bacchus, support Bacchus. They're such a good brand. Hip Hop Brewers were there picking up some of the barrel racking today, so that was a little bit sad. But hopefully some of those big barrel beers will continue on between the two brands. What else do I have? Jono Outred. I'm not sure if that's how I pronounce your name, Jono, but he has joined the IBA as a member engagement officer. It's one of the only paid positions within the group, and it's a central part of the IBA. I really look forward to seeing what him and Sabrina can implement. You may have seen Jono's writings in the Crafty Pint as head of sales for Eagle Bay Brewing or even when he was an assistant brewer at Gage Roads. All the best to Jono. I know a lot of people have lost confidence in the IBA, so getting it back on track is going to be a really challenging prospect. But I wish him the best and Sabrina the best. I think they've got a bit of an uphill battle for that one. You may have seen today the Beer and Brewer awards have started to trickle out. And there's been some really cool nominations over the last few weeks, I just want to. The Brewer of the Year has had was one of my favourite ones. So Carla Naismith from Shapeshifter, Chuck Hahn from Chuck and Sons, Damien Martin from Dangerous Ales, DJ McCready from Mountain Culture, Hamish Coates from Rocky Ridge, Kat Howes from Kaiju. That's really cool. Kat did the TAFE course up here in Queensland. That's really cool that she's been nominated there. Christian Martin from Two Bays. Max Hammermelly from Filter Brewing. Richard Watkins from Bentspoke. Ryan Allen from Margaret River. Tom Champion from Felons, who is a champion. And Topher from Wildflower. So some newer brewers and then some established brewers, and every one of those that I know are excellent people in the industry. So all the best to them. But the Sydney, I think it's the Sydney Beer Awards are sponsoring, or Sydney Beer Week are sponsoring the Beer and Brewer Awards. So it'll be good to see. But there's some really cool people there. In what is not cool, Lost Palms Brewery is no more. So the Sherwood site closed in April, and Miami is listed as temporary closed, where the actual brewery is. Sherwood was just a satellite tap room. The ATO is holding a hearing on October 15th to wind up the business. It's another small brewing business unable to survive in the current climate. All the best for those involved. I hope the creditors and staff don't lose out too much. And if someone wants a bright pink brewery, you might be able to get one soon for cheap. They've been really quiet this year. Obviously, something was up with Lost Palms, so that's bad for that. Which also made it really interesting that Padre is opening in Miami too, and from scratch with their own facility too. So all the best to them. Frothtober Fest at Burley Brewing this Saturday. You've heard us talk about it a couple of times. If you're in Burley, jump onto the website, grab a ticket. It gets you one of their glass steins and your first fill. Should be really good. And if you are in Brisbane, Saturday the 18th, I'm heading to the German Club for the evening session of their Oktoberfest. Let me know if you'll be there. We'll catch up. Or if you go there to one of the earlier sessions, let me know which of the official fest beers are your pick. Like we've mentioned on the potty before, this is the first time all Munich breweries have been available with their fest beers in Australia, so that's going to be really cool. That's pretty much all I had for beer. It'll be a bit of a quick one tonight, considering I don't have my right-hand man. So have another sip of this Hubba Hubba. Yep, really nice. Okay, NRL Grand Final. So I thought the game was decent. I think the better team won on the day. I thought it was pretty impressive that both men's and women's Broncos teams took out the title, and that was on back of the AFL with the Brisbane Lions taking that out. So if we just get the Bullets, the Roar, the Queensland Reds, Queensland Bulls, Brisbane Heat over the line, I think we'll be good. Upgrading Suncorp has been mentioned as a result. I'm not too sure. It's a great place to watch as it is now. If they go up and out too much, it probably won't be that good. And if you remember how many years did the Broncos play at ANZ Stadium, which is now QSAC, while they were renovating at that time, I just don't think we have time to do that. They're still looking at building the 90,000 capacity stadium at Victoria Park. for the Olympics. It was just announced today that they are definitely demolishing the Gabba after the Olympics. It's going to be 16,000 residences going in there. So I'll tell you what, if we're going to have these Olympics in 2032, they're going to have to pull their finger out because the infrastructure needs to be built yesterday, and it's just not happening. And that's my 2 cents. F1. So McLaren World Constructors Champions again with 6 races to go. Great result from the Bahrain-owned Woking-based team. The tensions between Oscar and Lando seem to be on the rise, and if they're not careful, I think Max could snatch the driver title away. He's only 60-odd points behind, and he's in good form. Carlos Sainz was my driver of the day. After starting 18th, he got the Williams to 10th. They were disqualified in qualifying due to wing measurements, but that was a really cool drive. Next up is Austin, Texas, where Max and Lando fought hard last year. So I think it's 3 sprints, 6 races to finish off the year. I still hope that Oscar can get up, but it's starting to get a bit narky. Rugby. So rugby unions have combined to inform players that anyone joining the R360 comp will be ineligible for international selection. It just sounds like the Super League war again, or even World Series cricket. It'll divide the sport. It'll make players look like sellouts. And ultimately, they'll probably all come back together in a few years when crowds, sponsors, TV ratings plummet. Even Peter V'landys from the NRL has said any NRL player heading to a 360 jeopardises their career, i.e. they won't be allowed back to rugby league. So watch this space. It does sound just like another Super League war. Another edition of Super Rugby reborn or something. So we'll wait and see. And my last bit of sporting rubbish is the Koori Knockout was on last weekend. It's held every long weekend in October. This year it was in Tamworth, and the men's and women's titles were taken out by the Newcastle Yowies. I think they even won a couple of the junior grades as well. It's a really great comp with current and retired Indigenous NRL and NRLW players joining local teams representing their mobs. Young blokes wanting to smash the NRL star showing them what they're made of, kids getting to meet their heroes. It's a cultural carnival, basically, just with heaps of footy in between, 20-minute halves, heaps of games. If you love rugby league, try and get around the Koori Knockout if you can, because it will be in Newcastle next year because they won this year, and they've got the facilities down there. So if you're in the Newcastle area and your team doesn't make it into October for the finals, make sure you jump out to the Koori Knockout. That's all I have this evening. Thank you again for listening and or watching. We're getting some really good comments and interaction on the pages. Andrew sent a message saying, if we had any dire Oktoberfest stories, and unfortunately I didn't have anything that I could repeat, print, or remember. But it's all about fun. It's a fest. So, but yeah, keep asking those questions. Keep engaged. If you have any guests, beers, anything you want to discuss, let us know. And you can hear our sultry voices next week. Thank you very much to everyone. Cheers. Bye.